Welcome back, everybody, to the I Don't Want a Divorce podcast. Before I continue talking about how to keep cleaning your system of resentments, a quick word about my website. At davideclarkphd.com, that's Clark with an A, davideclarkphd.com, you'll find the resources you need to deal with your marital crisis, whatever it might be. I can help you with God's course, help and power to save your marriage and build your marriage into a strong, intimate relationship. And as I mentioned in my last podcast, we can do a 45-minute phone advice session as well to talk about your crisis. I'll get the background and I'll give you a strategy moving forward. Now, today's topic is keep your system clean of resentments. Okay, you've just finished reading your letter of resentments. That was the last podcast, and you can tell by the expression on your husband's face that you've gotten his attention. This is the beginning of change in his life. He doesn't look like a deer in the headlights. No, he's way past that. He looks like a deer that's been hit by the car behind the headlights. He has entered the twilight zone. He's wondering whatever happened to his sweet, kind, she's practically a saint and never rocked the boat before wife. This is bad, really bad. That's exactly where you want him to be. You've made a good start, but it's only a start. You want to make sure this is much more than just a moment in time or a flash flood that temporarily pushes him off the road to intimacy avoidance and into a ditch. Remember, intimacy avoiders are masters of the rapid recovery. Don't let him recover and begin to feel comfortable. Don't let him make promises and then after 2 weeks revert to the same old routine. You've been through that a million times, haven't you? He promises, I'm sorry, I'll do it, you can count on me, and he starts, but then it fizzles. Not this time. You have to maintain your edge. You have to keep him on edge until he's past the point of no return and he's got it. You must force him off that dead-end road he's on and onto another better road, the road to becoming a loving, more expressive husband. In the meantime, you must keep on being the new you, the I'm going to tell you the way it is every time you, a better, healthier you. Keep going. It just might lead to a better husband. One-way communication is one of the key topics I cover in my book, Married But Lonely, and I'm going to cover it now on this podcast. So how do you get him off the wrong road and onto the right one? By continuing to be upfront, honest, and straightforward using one-way communication. One-way communication is going directly to your intimacy avoider and briefly telling him the truth about your thoughts and emotions concerning something that has happened in your relationship. I call it one-way because you do all the talking. You tell him he doesn't have to respond. Just ask him to listen and understand. Take time to process what you've said and find you and share his reaction when he's ready. When you are done talking, simply go silent. If you are at home, walk away. If you are in the car, a restaurant, or out somewhere, be quiet for at least 5 minutes. After that, you can continue in silence or bring up another topic of conversation. You speak your piece and you move on. Unlike what you've done in the past, you do not press him for an immediate reaction. Why not? 2 reasons. First, men cannot respond right away. They need time to process and figure out their feelings and thoughts on an issue. A personal issue takes them even longer. Second, when they feel pressured by a woman, men will always, listen to me, always clam up and say nothing. They feel controlled, they feel resentful, they feel defensive, and show you with their silence that you can't make them talk. If you express yourself in 2 minutes or less and allow him time to process, there is a chance your intimacy avoider husband will consider what you say and get back to you to continue the conversation. If you badger him or even ask him nicely for an immediate response, your intimacy avoider will harden up and never respond. Never. My one-way communication strategy prompts a maybe. Your natural wife way of pushing him to say something back right away gets you a never. Try my way. I call this the 2-step. When he doesn't return. Okay, what if you try one-way communication and he still doesn't come back with a response? Since he is an intimacy avoider, that is likely to happen often. When you have waited a day or two and it is pretty clear he has no intention of reacting, take 2 steps. Step 1, give him one low-key, unemotional reminder. You get only one. If you remind him twice, you turn into a nagging witch. Try this. Remember that issue we discussed? When you're ready, I would like you to find me and give me your reaction to what I said. After these 2 statements, say nothing else about it. Move on. You're not going to bring it up again. Step 2, if he still won't talk about it, Go to him one more time and give him a one-way communication that expresses your feelings about his decision to ignore you and refusal to respond. It'll go something like this. Honey, I'm angry and disappointed that you have chosen to not come back to me about whatever issue you brought up. It makes me feel unloved and unimportant. I just wanted you to know. Then drop it, walk away, and you're not going to bring it up again. If a decision has to be made, let him make the decision. If it's a situation where you have to make a decision without his help, then do it. Now let me cover the 7 keeps of one-way communication. Here are the benefits. In fact, there are many benefits of one-way. Do it when you need to do it communication. I call these the big 7. First, it keeps your system clean of negative, destructive emotions such as anger, hurt, bitterness, and resentment. You get the pain your husband causes out of you, and you stay healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually. The second keep, it ensures that you keep on forgiving your husband for his mistakes. The letter of resentments is a critical step, but you have to continue to flush out daily pain. If you don't, it will turn into resentment, and you will develop another nasty pool of negative, debilitating emotions. 3, it keeps your needs and the behaviors that bother you in full view of your husband. Every time you vent one way, he is reminded of the things you consider most important in the marriage. 4th, it keeps him off balance and uncomfortable, which is the only time he'll actually change. 5, it provides you the opportunity to keep teaching your husband the skills he needs to love you. How to correct his weaknesses, how to understand why he is the way he is, how to stop hurting you, how to open up and communicate what is inside. 6, it keeps alive the possibility that he will listen to you, get what you are saying, think about it, and respond at least some of the time. When you drop your verbal payload, not being furious, just honest, and leave, he may eventually follow you. He doesn't like it when you're upset with him, so he's likely to come after you, and that's what you want. For a conversation about your issue. 7th, and lastly, most importantly, one-way communication keeps you following Scripture. I wouldn't recommend anything that I didn't think was rooted in Scripture. The verses I use to support the letter of resentments are the same verses that support one-way communication. The Bible teaches us to be angry and yet do not sin. Ephesians 4:26, speak the truth in love. Ephesians 4:15, bear one another's burdens. Galatians 6:2, and confront others. Matthew 5:22 through 24, and Matthew 18:15 through 17. Now, here are 2 more ways to use one-way communication. Bring up past pain and stay current. I'll touch on these. Bring up past pain. The deep hurts your husband has caused you cannot be expressed and forgiven quickly. While the letter of resentments is a significant step toward healing, it will not be enough. Your heart will heal over time as you periodically share with your husband leftover pain connected to these events. Pray that God will bring up the pain so you can flush it out. It can be triggered any number of ways: a careless comment, a behavior that reminds you of how he hurt you years before, a song on the radio, a movie, or God just bringing the traumatic event to mind. When the pain comes up, go to your husband and vent it using one-way communication such as this. And here's an example. The wife says, I have something I need to say to you. This last month, this is the husband talking to the intimacy avoider her husband. Now, this last month, you have slipped back into workaholic mode. No, don't give me any excuses. Just hear me out. I know it is a busy time at work. Guess what? It's a busy time at home, too. I feel angry and frustrated, like I'm very unimportant to you. I need you here helping me, loving me, talking with me, and being my partner. When you work too much, it reminds me of all the times you have put work ahead of me and our family. This past month has brought up a lot of that old pain for me. I am tired of being number 6 on your priority list. I am angry, sad, and hurt that you can't seem to put me where I belong, which is at the top of your relationship list. Think about it. Get back to me if you want. Another way to use one way is what I call stay current. Chances are good that your husband will continue to make mistakes and cause you pain. Not because he wants to, it's just what will happen. That is life with a man, especially an intimacy avoider. To stay healthy, build respect, and keep your needs in front of his face, you must daily go to him, and clean out your pain. He won't like it. That's tough, but it is good for both of you and for your relationship. Because it is one way, he will be much better able to take in what you say and act on it. Here's some examples. Example 1. The wife says, "Do you have a minute? I wanted you to know that your comment this morning about my housekeeping made me angry and offended me. I do my best and your criticism really stung. When you are ready, I would appreciate an apology. I need praise and help with the chores, not sarcastic barbs." Example 2. The wife says, "I needed you last night and you weren't there for me. I had a stressful day. I wanted to vent to you and be comforted, but you half listened for 5 minutes and then turned on the television. I am angry and disappointed in you. I need you to listen to me every day." Example 3. The wife says, "It has been 2 weeks since you promised to schedule a meeting for us with a financial advisor. You have chosen not to do it. Hold your excuses. I don't want to hear them. I feel angry, hurt, and betrayed. If you have no intention of seeing an advisor, say so. At least that would be honest." And here's one more example about sex. The wife says, "I have to tell you how I feel about the sex we had last night." She says to him, "Don't respond. I just want you to listen. Although I agreed, I regret giving in to you. In the week leading up to yesterday, you didn't romance me. I had no emotional connection to you because we hadn't talked on a deeper level. I need to feel loved and close to you in order to fully participate in sex. I feel used and cheap. I am angry because you got what you wanted, but I didn't get what I needed. Our sex is boring and a chore for me. It hurts me and pushes me away from you. If you want me to enjoy intercourse and be an active sexual partner, you have to meet my emotional and spiritual needs first." Now, in the next podcast, we'll look at 3 more ways you can use one-way communication in an effective way with your intimacy-avoiding spouse. And just a brief note here, I'm talking, of course, in the context of the wife being the one who's married to the intimacy avoider husband. 15 to 20% of the time, the roles are reversed, and it's the husband, who's married to a wife, and the wife is the intimacy avoider. So if that's the case, and you're thinking, "Hey, this doesn't apply to me," yes, it does. Just reverse the sexes. So until next time, this is David E. Clark, signing off.